Hello everyone. Welcome to the Al Rasta channel. Here I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 194. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% similar to the Donghua version. Okay, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. Continuing the story from episode 193, when Luofeng encountered the machine race named Chen Hun. The tension escalated when the immortal king Chen Hun of the machine race suddenly greeted Luofeng in a mocking tone, introducing himself as the brother of Purple Clock, whom Luofeng had killed earlier. Chen Hun belittled Luofeng, saying that he had no right to be arrogant in the Star Tower, which was far more dangerous than the Yanji continent. The machine race burst into mocking laughter, while the insect race watched warily. Luofeng sensed strong hostility from Chen Hun, who clearly wanted revenge for the deaths of Purple Clock and 13 other Immortal King machine race. Calmly, Luofeng responded to Chen Hun's taunts, calling him a petty Immortal King who dared to be arrogant in front of him. The atmosphere was about to explode into confrontation when suddenly Heavy Arrow appeared beside Luofeng in his perfect peak form. The appearance of Heavy Arrow, who had fully recovered, shocked both sides. They realized that Luofeng possessed extraordinary wealth to restore Heavy Arrow with more than 100 billion Hunyuan in such a short time. The combination of Luofeng and Heavy Arrow became a force that could not be ignored. The machine race warrior who had been mocking him immediately stopped smiling and became extremely wary. Chen Hun didn't dare to continue his mockery. Luofeng stared coldly at Chen Hun and turned away, while Heavy Arrow stood respectfully behind him. Mentally, Luofeng reminded Heavy Arrow not to reveal his purple bell treasure because it was his biggest trump card. A limit immortal king with a purple bell treasure was a terrifying threat. The situation changed dramatically when a gate was discovered and the three races rushed towards it. The insect race was the closest, followed by Luofeng and Heavy Arrow, then the machine race behind. The offended Chen Hun shouted at Luofeng to wait behind because their race was stronger and should go first. Luofeng ignored him and continued forward, causing Chen Hun to rage and shout angrily. In an instant, Luofeng ordered Heavy Arrow to attack. Heavy Arrow immediately shot forward with his purple glowing bowblade and in two flashes sliced Chen Hun's body into 3 pieces. Chen Hun was confident that he would not die without the Divine Body's incineration, but the Famo poison coating Heavy Arrow's blade destroyed his body from within. Immortal King Chen Hun died instantly. Both sides watched in shock as a pinnacle Immortal King died so easily. Heavy Arrow stood coldly collecting Chen Hun's remains, while declaring that anyone who insulted his master deserved to die, showing their true strength to all parties. Chen Hun's death was so easy that it completely stunned the machine race. They immediately suspected that King Blade River had a special weapon purchased from the universe, because Heavy Arrow, as the Limit Immortal King, should not have been able to kill the pinnacle Immortal King warrior so easily. The warriors there concluded that Luofeng must have a strong background and extraordinary wealth from the sacrificial tower treasures he had obtained. Although shocked, the machine race could not simply allow the death of their comrade without reaction, because it would be very embarrassing. 2 black-armored, green-skinned machine race warriors roared at Luofeng about his actions. Coldly, Luofeng explained that he never wanted to fight them or the insect race, but because Chen Hun dared to insult him, he had to be prepared to accept the consequences. He asserted that the pride of a warrior did not bow to insults and challenged them to act if they wanted revenge. However, Luofeng reminded them that wasting their strength now would only be detrimental when the sealed star appeared later, allowing the opposing side to benefit, particularly the insect race, which was the strongest force among all groups. The machine race warriors realized the truth and only roared threateningly, while the insect race watched disappointedly but remained focused on their main goal. The 3 groups then entered the next forbidden space and found 2 other groups already there, the human race and another insect race. Luofeng immediately recognized King Tianzhan, a 3-eyed pinnacle immortal king with long brown hair who was skilled in soul attacks and illusions. Luofeng joined the human race group, most of whom were members of the Hong Meng Alliance. The warriors there were surprised to see Heavy Arrow, who had been in a coma because of Luofeng, and realized how great the cost was to restore his full strength. On the other hand, two insect race groups had gathered around King Skeleton, who was the most powerful slave of Queen Nancheng. Tianzhen expressed his concern that Nancheng was the greatest threat, an insect queen skilled in soul attacks and defense with a terrifying army of the mortal insects. However, Tianzhen also explained that as the number of warriors in this place increased, the threat from individual power differences would diminish, and when enough immortal kings gathered, even their combined attacks could force a universe venerable to retreat. As time passed, they continued to move from one forbidden space to the next, and in each space the number of warriors continued to grow. This scene further convinced everyone that the sealed star would indeed appear because the star tower was shifting spaces to gather warriors. Despite the increase in numbers, the focus of all the warriors there remained on King Skeleton and Nancheng, who were undoubtedly the strongest warriors in the entire group. In the ninth space, Luofeng stood on the grass with the other human races and was shocked to see more than 2,600 Immortal level troops had gathered. The machine race had more than 600 warriors, the insect race more than 800, the demon race more than 500, and the human race more than 600 people. More than 90% of them were immortal kings. Luofeng realized that this number would continue to grow as they approached the final chamber. The tension reached its peak when a tear in space appeared and a large group of warriors rushed in. 3 races at once, with the insect race having more than 100 warriors, the human race more than 30, and the demon race only 1 warrior. However, it was this one warrior who silenced more than 2,600 immortals instantly. He was King Black Tomb of the demon race, wearing a large blood-colored knife on his back, his body covered in blood-red scales, with a single horn on his wolf head, his face covered in green veins, and 9 scaly tails. The energy he emitted suppressed the entire area. Even the insect race with Queen Nancheng fell silent in his presence. The gaze of King Black Tomb made everyone shudder in fear. Even though he was alone, his presence was overwhelming. Luofeng narrowed his eyes as he stared at this terrifying figure, realizing that the battle for the sealed star would be far more dangerous than he had imagined with monsters like King Black Tomb and Queen Nancheng present. On the 7th battlefield, there were several terrifying creatures standing at the peak of power, and Luofeng realized that even if he used all his trump cards, he would not be able to defeat them when the difference in strength was too great. The insect queen Nancheng was one of those creatures who relied on her immortal insect army to rule the battlefield. Meanwhile, King Black Tomb relied on a single blood tomb blade to slaughter many warriors with his terrifying power. King Black Tomb's reputation was even higher than Nancheng's, although it was difficult to compare their combat strength, as it depended on the situation. In this small space, King Black Tomb could kill the entire army, but with enough space, Nancheng's insect army would be very formidable. It is known that King Black Tomb came from the Qi Wang race and began his journey by offending many warriors, then fleeing to the extraterritorial battlefield at the Domain Master level. He grew through a long period of killing until he was almost invincible when he reached the Immortal King level, and his race then treated him as a pillar of support by providing him with enormous resources. These two warriors approached the level of the invincible Immortal King like Master Zhen Yan, but achieving such perfection was extremely rare even among trillions of races. 2 days passed as the warriors continued to increase in number through various forbidden spaces. They stayed between half an hour and half a day in each space before moving on. The number of warriors in Luofeng's group grew to over 16,000 immortal warriors, with over 90% being immortal kings. However, Luofeng's attention was drawn to a new warrior in the human race, a human carrying 7 blades on his back, wearing ancient purple armor with special black gloves and a 7-blade mark on his forehead. His energy was so great that even King Black Tomb sensed it and strengthened his bloodlust. This was Immortal King 7-Blade, the mental or spirit warrior master of the huge Axe Dojo and the #1 genius of his generation. He was a disciple of one of the leaders of the huge Axe Dojo organization, and in tens of thousands of years, he had already approached the level of invincible Immortal King. The high-ranking officials of the human race liked him and considered him to have high hopes of becoming a universe venerable. In fact, just the title of Universe Master's disciple was enough to make enemies tremble. Babata teased that Luofeng, as a disciple of the Chaos City Lord, should be able to show off his skills, but Luofeng remained humble and unpretentious. Although it was difficult to defeat Seven Blade at the World Master level, Luofeng was confident that after breaking through to the Immortal level, it would be easy to defeat him. Before long, the mountain suddenly rumbled, revealing a deep hole with stars swirling inside as an exit. The four races that had gathered immediately moved to enter the large hole according to their distance. The human race was the third group to enter, feeling time and space change as they landed on a large rock peak. They arrived in a vast space with many rock peaks floating close together like countless pebbles forming a large path leading to the next forbidden space. Luofeng was surprised to see more than 100,000 immortals gathered on this path. Tianzhen explained that throughout this gathering process, weak warriors who saw stronger ones naturally retreated for fear of losing their lives, while absolute warriors who were confident across the entire 7th battlefield and experienced in the Star Tower would flock to teleport to this place after hearing the news of the Sealed Star's appearance. Famous warriors such as King Life Fall, Seven Blade, and Immortal King Dalong were all gathered here. More than 100,000 immortals suddenly focused their attention downward when an energy vortex appeared in the vast space. Deep within the vortex, a star spun and floated. The warriors there immediately erupted with excitement. The legendary Sealed Star had finally revealed itself. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. A rare opportunity that only happened once in a very long time. Tension filled the air as more than 100,000 warriors from the four peak races prepared for the great battle to come. Every immortal king realized that the battle for the Sealed Star would be the most brutal in the history of the 7th battlefield, and only the strongest would survive to claim it. This time, a loud rumbling sound came from the large whirlpool as the sealed stars inside it spun slower and slower, almost as if they were being stopped by something. A shocking sight was revealed. Around the large whirlpool, thousands of sealed stars with diameters ranging from 9,000 to 90,000 kilometers were spinning and floating around the center of the whirlpool. One sealed star that floated out was the largest of them all, and this scene immediately drove the more than 100,000 immortal warriors there crazy, with excitement and impatience. Tianzhen contacted Luofeng and asked if he wanted a sealed star. Luofeng admitted that anyone would risk their lives to get one, but their chances were very low considering there were 9 powerful warriors such as Nanchang, Black Tomb, and Dalong among the more than 100,000 immortals. Tianzhen explained that although they were strong individually, their combined strength tended to be weaker in groups. Even a universe venerable would die if hit by a combined attack from another race. Tianzhen had formed an alliance with about 1,000 allies through the virtual universe system, sending out an emergency meeting request that allowed all those invited to enter quickly. He sent out a mass letter reminding them to hurry and move in order to have a chance. In the virtual universe's special meeting room, 1,000 carved stone thrones surrounded a large round table. Within 10 seconds, all the thrones were filled by immortal kings, including Luofeng and Tianzhen. Tianzhen explained that the sealed star must slowly break through the barrier before appearing, giving them time to make plans. With 1,000 immortals, almost all of whom were immortal kings, including 11 limit immortal kings and 8 pinnacle immortal kings skilled in soul attacks, they did not need to worry too much about fighting powerful warriors such as Black Tomb or Dalong. The plan was simple. They would combine their strength to approach the sealed star when it fell, and whoever obtained it would depend on luck and skill. The alliance would automatically dissolve once someone obtained the sealed star, and that person would have to rely on their own abilities to escape. When asked if there were any objections, the entire room fell silent. Everyone understood that such an alliance had to be formed naturally against powerful beings. The group was excited and full of anticipation, because even though the chances of dying were much higher, for the sealed star, everyone was willing to take the gamble. Luofeng stood floating atop a rock, watching as many warriors there naturally formed their own groups, quietly forming similar alliances. No one wanted to let Dalong, Black Tomb, or Seven Blade get away with the sealed star. Tianzhen gathered with 9 human warriors, including Luofeng, Can Yu, and Ku Wu, who were the strongest among them. Tianzhen explained that King Seven Blade would not help them because of his high status as a Universe Master's disciple and his insane wealth, as he had already hired many powerful warriors to assist him. These warriors knew that the chances of obtaining the sealed star were very low, but they were willing to reap the benefits and make an alliance with Seven Blade. Kanyu warned them to look down, where the sealed star was beginning to float upward against the shapeless pressure. Countless ripples held the star in place. The energy of the star tower held thousands of sealed stars. Tianzhen warned that no one dared to break through the barrier because it would cause certain death. Even the universe master could not forcibly take the sealed star unless it came out on its own. They had to wait patiently until the sealed star broke through the barrier by itself. Time passed as the warriors patiently bowed their heads and waited. The sealed star continued to rush upward against the pressure, creating ripples that looked like soap bubbles ready to burst. Tension filled the air as more than 100,000 immortal warriors of various races prepared for the greatest battle of their lives. Suddenly, an explosion shook the surrounding space. The rushing sealed star immediately rose into a dazzling light and shot into the sky. The sealed star finally appeared, breaking through the barrier. In an instant, more than 100,000 immortal kings from the four peak races, the human race, the machine race, the insect race, and the demon race, moved simultaneously towards the sealed star. The long-awaited great slaughter began as the formed alliances moved with their combined strength, facing terrifying creatures such as Mancheng, Black Tomb, Dalong, and Seven Blade. Luofeng and his human group rushed forward, realizing that the encounter would be the most brutal and chaotic battle he had ever experienced. Only the strongest, smartest, and luckiest would survive and claim the legendary treasure. More than 100,000 immortal warriors from across the universe gathered as the sealed star exploded outward, shattering the silence like a rock hitting the surface of water. The large group of immortals began to move in unison, unleashing all kinds of long-range attacks that tore the surrounding space into countless fragments. A large number of pinnacle immortal kings released space locks to prevent other warriors from teleporting directly near the sealed star. Tianzhen shouted, ordering his group to rush forward and combine their forces because the laws of space around them had been locked and teleportation was useless. Luofeng, who had initially wanted to let Heavy Arrow carry him, realized that the laws of space had been destroyed, so he ordered Heavy Arrow to give up on teleporting and just fly. Luofeng also ordered Heavy Arrow to maintain his defensive power around him at all times to stop soul attacks, because even though Luofeng's soul defense had been strengthened by the beast god's power with 32 times soul reinforcement, immortal level understanding of the laws, terrifying willpower, and the strong consciousness of the golden-horned behemoth that made him equal to an immortal Marquis, he was still vulnerable to attacks from pinnacle immortal kings skilled in soul attacks, especially if they burned their divine bodies in. Luofeng's group of 1,000 immortals rushed towards the sealed star along with dozens of other groups. Tianzhen shouted orders to block the attack, and Luofeng and his group unleashed their immortal power to form a combined barrier as a shield. An all-out war erupted with more than 100,000 immortals from the four races, 95% of whom were immortal kings. On the other side, those who had formed alliances of 500, 1,000, or 2,000 members unleashed a combined attack with terrifying power that could only be blocked by hundreds to thousands of warriors if they defended together. Luofeng held his breath, realizing that even with his strong defenses, he did not dare to fight such a combined attack. The closer they got to the sealed star, the more chaotic and dangerous the situation became. The group left behind gritted their teeth and repeatedly attacked those rushing towards the sealed star. The area near the sealed star continued to experience violent explosions, completely destroying the space. Although many groups were getting closer, no one dared to enter because they feared a combined attack landing around the sealed star area that could kill a universe-venerable figure. 12 seconds after the sealed star appeared, the attacks finally stopped as the sealed star flew downward. More than 10,000 immortals rushed to the surface, trying to leave a soul mark to control the treasure. However, all the thousands who tried failed because leaving a trace required uninterrupted focus, and such a treasure could only have one master, with less than 0.1 seconds difference between the fastest and slowest among them. Luofeng's group was the second group to land when there were already more than 30,000 warriors on the surface. Luofeng also tried to leave his soul on the sealed star, but failed. More and more warriors gathered above the sealed star, numbering 40,000, 50,000, and then 60,000. Terrible combined attacks continued to come from afar, but were easily blocked by the thousands of warriors on the surface. Glancing over, Luofeng saw about 30,000 immortals floating in the air in separate groups. Among them, 9 powerful warriors such as Da Long, Black Tomb, and Seven Blade led their own teams without any haste. Luofeng saw about 30,000 warriors floating in the air with 9 terrifying beings, including Da Long, Black Tomb, and Seven Blade, as the leaders of their own teams without any haste. Luofeng realized the difference in strategy. The weaker ones like Tianjin had to rush to get the sealed star first, while powerful warriors like the 3 of them had the assurance of killing anyone lucky enough to get it and taking the treasure from them. Suddenly, a piercing command echoed, ordering everyone to flee. The sealed star moved very quickly downward, and even though the shapeless pressure beneath it broke, the energy of the star tower formed even more ferocious ripples. Some of those who fled were hit by attacks from other warriors and thrown backward into the crazy energy of the star tower. Both low-level immortal kings, pinnacle immortal kings, and even limit immortal kings who were hit directly turned to ash. Their weapons were destroyed, and some of their world rings were broken. Luofeng was shocked to see the terrifying power of the shapeless barrier that had previously stably held back thousands of sealed stars, now broken into a source of crazy energy that easily destroyed many warriors. Anyone who touched it would die without a doubt. The large amount of treasures from those who died floated around, causing many people to rush to get them, which added to the chaotic situation. Amidst this situation, the 9 powerful warriors leading their teams did not appear to be in a hurry. One of the machine race warriors named King Lifefall, wearing black-skinned golden armor, looked on coldly, commenting that the others were too anxious because tens of thousands of exits had not yet appeared. Even if they obtained the sealed stars, they would not be able to escape and would only become targets. He glanced at King Sevenblade in the distance, reminding himself that obtaining the sealed star was the secondary goal while killing Seven Blade was the primary one. The machine race had a bounty mission in which Seven Blade was the 3rd target on their list to kill geniuses from the human race, after the world master named Luofeng in first place, who was comparable to KD and accepted as a disciple of the Chaos City Lord. Well, remember that Luofeng is known as Yang here, so the machine race doesn't know that Luofeng is there. On the other hand, as one of the 4 peak races, Seven Blade ranks 3rd on their assassination list due to his talent, mental strength, and extraordinary combat skills. The machine race has confirmed that King Seven Blade possesses the 7 blades, Void Grip, and most likely the ultimate legacy of the ancestral god, the highest power in the universe. King Lifefall declared that if Seven Blade continues to grow, he will surely become a terrifying creature of the human race and must be killed. The cost of reviving a warrior as powerful as Seven Blade would also be the same as reviving a universe venerable, and his treasures would fall into the hands of the machine race. King Life. Fall looked at the Seven Blade team in the distance, who did not seem to be in a hurry, then quietly ordered his troops to prepare with a 6 formation and a separating tower to target Seven Blade. While Nan Chung, Da Long, Seven Blade, and Lifefall watched from a distance, the sealed star tapped down and landed in the dangerous area filled with the star tower's crazy energy. Dozens of warriors instantly fell upon touching the area, leaving behind numerous world rings and other coveted treasures. The warriors who had just escaped the dangerous area immediately began fighting. Each race attacked each other, and all teams disbanded, with everyone fighting for survival. Various types of attacks erupted in the middle of the fragmented space, pushing the unlucky warriors into the dangerous area where they were instantly destroyed. Many were happy because even though they couldn't obtain the sealed star, they could use the dangerous area to kill many warriors of other races and take their treasures worth tens to hundreds of billions. Luofeng observed this madness, realizing that the dangerous area was a rare opportunity to easily eliminate other warriors. Suddenly, jade green lights flashed across the vast space, stunning more than 100,000 warriors, including Luofeng and Heavy Arrow. Lifefall led the machine race team with more than 100 machine race warriors holding 3-meter-high towers like weapons, while Lifefall's own tower was nearly 20 meters tall. Nearly 900 other machine race warriors simultaneously burned their divine bodies to support every 100 machine race warriors, creating terrifying energy that was poured into the towers. Over 100 towers emitted a terrifying pulse network that gathered at Lifefall's large tower. Then a pulsating jade green light ripple shot directly at the Seven Blade team. The Seven Blades' calm expression suddenly changed. His eyes filled with shock as he recognized the Separation Tower, a super weapon of the machine race that was comparable in price to a heavy treasure. He shouted, ordering his troops to act according to plan and burn their divine bodies. Strangely, they spread their energy into the air while the Seven Blade opened his mouth, spewing out a river of gold with beast god statues along its sides. The ancient river swallowed all the scattered energy and erupted, forming a shapeless golden net that covered more than 1,000 human race soldiers. When the jade-green light from the Separation Tower hit the golden net, the image of an ancient beast appeared all over it. Lifefall gritted his teeth, realizing his guess was correct. This was the legacy of the ancestral god. Luofeng was stunned to see that the Golden River's defense far exceeded Lifefall's tower attack, even though the immortal energy burned by the human race was much less. Many other immortals lost confidence in obtaining the sealed star upon seeing such terrifying power. The four races were in an all-out war with nearly 100,000 soldiers fighting and killing with madness, while those near the danger zone fell immediately. The space around them was chaotic when suddenly tens of thousands of exits appeared everywhere, each door leading to forbidden spaces for escape. The weaker warriors immediately headed for the nearest exit to flee, but the Limit Immortal King and Pinnacle were still desperate to take advantage of the dangerous area to kill as many as possible and take their treasures, because such an easy opportunity would never come again. Luofeng was different from the others because he was not obsessed with the sealed star or interested in killing other warriors. His interest was only in the Star Tower itself, which continued to call to him. He did not consider it a coincidence that so much happened upon his arrival, and that the sealed star chose to appear just as he arrived. Such coincidental opportunities in the universe were extremely rare. Luofeng believed there was something special here because of the Star Tower's call, making the sealed star less appealing to him. Therefore, he simply followed and joined the team, rushing along with them, staying close to powerful emperors like Tianzhen and Kang Qi, then escaping with the large group. Overall, he just joined the group while quietly observing everything and seeing if there were any differences from the sealed star's fall in the past. So far, nothing special had happened, but Luofeng was certain that if his guess was correct, there should be something special during the process of the sealed star's fall. And he had been waiting for that moment to arrive. So what happens next? Let's wait and see in the next video, guys. Okay, thank you for watching until the end. And don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.
故而宇宙中众多存在幻物，因我经常盘坐于山峰，我为座山客。